So another example of where projects start, this was an interesting one. I did this a couple of years ago for the Albany Institute of History and Art. There was a collector in England who had found this unusual artifact, the transom of some sort of vessel. And he was trying to get museums in England interested in purchasing this. And he was told by a number of historians, this has more to do with New York State than it does to do with England. So you should start looking there for a possible museum that might be interested in America. So what is this? What does it represent? The first provincial governor of New York State was a guy named George Clinton. Now, for those of you who know New York State history, the first governor of New York State was named George Clinton. They're not the same guy. This guy was the Lord of Lincolnshire. He was a British royal who was given the task of governing the province of New York, which was quite immense. I mean, it wasn't just where New York is today. It sort of extended into New Jersey and down toward Delaware. But this is the family crest of the Clinton family of Lincolnshire. You can see the two greyhounds, and there's two stars in here, and there's a number of crosses. There's a slogan in Latin, in a scroll under it, and this is the coat of arms of that family. That's what this carving represents. That object belonged to that family and was somehow involved in the life of George Clinton. Well, we know that Clinton in the 1740s, the late 1740s, the English realized that the French were encroaching on their territory. The French were in Canada. They were making their way down. There were a number of conflicts that take place on Lake Champlain and Lake George. And so they realized that there's a war coming. And it was going to be important to make allies out of the Indian groups that lived around the area. So Clinton decided that he would come to Albany and he would meet with the chiefs of the Iroquois nation and he would give them gifts and he would see if he could create a liaison between those groups. This is a bill of sale for the trip that he made to Albany with those Indian gifts. And it's really neat to read this. To freight 19 bales of dry goods from New York to Albany, being part of the presents designed for the 6 nations of Indians. And he was charged for all of this stuff by the owner of the sloop that was going to tow his boatload of gifts north up the Hudson River. So we see here he's talking about the trip, and here he's talking about, this is now Abraham Dow, who is the owner of the vessel that's going to be doing the towing, and he's charging for everything. Repainting his boat, he wants to buy new flags. This is what the flags cost. He really wanted to deck this vessel out so that it would look like, it would be very impressive, making its way up the Hudson. The interesting thing is, this is the bill that Dow presented to the governor to be reimbursed. This is the bill that the governor presented to the Crown in England to be reimbursed for the trip. He talks about his trip to Albany and that he was going to Albany with sloops, plural, sloops. This bill is 10 times greater than what he was charged. This is a painting in the collection of the Albany Institute of History and Art, and it's of a nobleman in Albany of the 1700s. But what I like about the painting is that in the background is this detail of a sloop towing a little vessel. Now this is exactly contemporary with this trip that Clinton is making north. So that vessel really influenced me a lot in the vessel that I was using in my painting. So what is this part of? What kind of vessel is this? And it puzzled me for a while. I did some research. I found this wonderful model. This is a model that was built in the 1740s. It's in the National Maritime Museum in England, but it has tremendous similarities to that artifact. So with that as a model, I have a set of plans that I can work from, and I built a simple digital model of that, and then I just started to kind of fill it in to be like the vessel that I found in the collection of the Maritime Museum. That was how I painted it.
Nice.
That's the vessel towing it, and that's the full painting with Albany in the background. The background scene, the Albany scene, was made pretty much the way I did the Kingston scene, using a period map, building a digital model of it, and that was how I got the layout for the city.